What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another video trying to understand the Polish mentality. Like I said, that mentality. Now, before we dive in and understanding this mentality, if you guys enjoy it, please don't forget to smash that subscribe. We're so close to getting 1,000 subscribers because you guys are so freaking amazing. So subscribe. All right, let's see how the Polish think. Let's see and why they think how they think.
Hey Slavic Vikings, and welcome to Understanding Polish Mentality.
Talk to me.
This video is going to be full of anecdotes and personal experiences of living in Poland.
Okay.
My dad is fully raised and lived most of his life in Denmark, and I was also born in Denmark, and I also lived a bit in Ireland. So my mentality is pretty close with Danish culture mentality because I was brought up by a Danish dad.
Okay.
So it's easier for me to notice differences that I will be talking about in this video.
That's cool.
Before we get into the Polish mentality, let's talk a bit about Polish history. So the golden age of Poland.
Y'all know I know my Polish history, so I'm gonna let them go ahead go through the history. Because I done read so many videos about Polish history, I feel like I got it. And if he teaching me something new, I'll definitely acknowledge it.
Was the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, where Poland, even though it was officially a monarchy, was one of the most democratic and tolerant countries in the world. It had one of the biggest amount of Jews in the world.
Yes.
This all started to destroy with the partitions and the introduction of liberum veto in Poland, where it started slowly to ruin democracy in Poland, and other neighboring powerful countries started to slowly destroy Poland because of how easy its borders are to invade. So like I said, Poland was destroyed and got its independence back many times, and the last time was after World War II, when Germany lost to the Allies and Poland got a bit of land. But because Russia also in a way won the war, they got Poland as a satellite state. And basically the goal of Russia in creating Poland was to create a buffer state between the NATO countries and Russia, so it would be way harder to invade Russia. They would first have to go
I did not know that was the reason. That is new. But that does make sense for them wanting Poland to be that buffer state, right? Hey, you want to invade us, you got to go through Poland first, so we're going to see y'all coming from a mile away.
Through Poland, and then they of course created a country from nowhere called Belarus. And as you probably know, after World War II, Russia and all of its, or should I say the Soviet Union, and all of its satellite states were communist. And Poland was communist for many years. And this shaped Polish mentality and Polish industry and Polish economy extremely. And the fight against communism in the last couple of decades has created nationalism that is very unheard of in neighboring countries. Poland has been the victim so many times from global superpowers that Poland has basically the upper ground when it comes to morality in being extreme nationalists. Like, for example, it is way less common to show a German flag, the biggest Polish neighbor, than in Poland it is to show a Polish flag. Everyone shows a Polish flag in Poland because the Germans have a lot of guilt, politically and individually, because of what they did in the past. While Poland was always the victim, just trying their best to survive. And this impacted Polish politics and mentality extremely in the last couple of years.
I can understand that. I can definitely understand that, right? Proud of Poland being proud of their country, proud of fighting, proud of being resistant, proud of standing up, putting a stop to communism, putting a stop to the Soviets, taking Poland back multiple times, never giving up. Poland has a lot to be proud about. So, hey, fly them flags. Wave them flags with pride, Poland.
So, because Poland is fully independent now, there are a lot of radical nationalistic movements, and that is often how Poland
Oh.
is viewed by Western media. Like, for example, the
Oh,
Marsz
what?
Niepodległości, where thousands and
That's
thousands of
you.
people go on the streets to celebrate the independence of Poland with,
Love it.
I could call it, very big passion. And this
Love it,
is
love
a
it, love
controversial topic in Poland and around the world because they often do stuff that is very controversial, like burning flags of other countries and destroying public stuff for no reason. Now I'm going to talk about the
That's not
second
playing.
biggest
But I
impact on
understand.
Polish.
You understand why it would be controversial today. Don't get me wrong. I understand that concept, but also understand why he burned the flag. Like, you can understand both sides and understand that even though Germany has changed and Germany is a lot better country today, thank God. You can understand why he burned that German flag because of what Germany did to Poland.
Mentality, and that is the Catholic Church. With the fight of communism, there was the Polish Church, which was one of the only safe havens of free speech and sense of community when the communists were oppressing Polish culture. And because of that, Polish Catholicism is extremely big in Poland. It dictates rules, governments, and pretty much everything. It's almost a meme in Poland now on how many churches there are. Like, every small village, small city has many churches in it. It's kind of crazy. These conservative ideas of far-right nationalism and far government Catholicism is looked with disgust from the west and inner cities like where I live in Warsaw. And this causes a big discourse between the Polish people. The government in Poland is favoring the majority of Poland, which is the conservative, religious, more rural parts of the population.
Okay.
Next up, we have Polish pathology.
Polish pathology. So Polish Catholicism. I thought I was gonna say that wrong, and if I did still say it wrong, I completely apologize. But geez, that was absolutely a ton of churches in Poland. Do y'all really have that many? Like, I knew y'all had a lot. I knew y'all had cathedrals. I knew y'all had, but I didn't know y'all had that many churches. But and I didn't know the government. Well, I did know actually the government was more so. There was a majority. There was a majority when it came to the government. That's all I'm saying.
So all this torment of the Polish populace has caused a lot of pathology individually and on the legislative level. I can notice from my experience that when I travel to different countries, especially in Europe, people seem more normal. And I know that might sound weird, but let me explain. People in Poland usually are more closed off and they don't open up to you, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about radical personalities. Okay. This is from my experience, and you might have a different one. I'm just explaining mine. And that is that many people in Poland have very far personalities, like specific personalities. For example, in Poland, you could find someone who is radically extroverted to the point where they can't stop talking and they want to be friends with everyone. And then the next person you meet might be extremely closed, extremely weird, and like won't talk to anyone, etc., etc. But when I, for example, go to Denmark, people overall seem to have a similar type of personality when it comes to how weird they are. And I think this is caused by the lack of pathology in Denmark and in more developed countries, because the giant torment because of Germany in World War II has caused so much destruction in families that it has stayed in generations of bringing up children. Individualism.
So Polish pathology. And I guess, because I was going to say, I feel like in America, though, like, you could find people on the two extremes. You could find an extreme extrovert. We got a lot of extroverts actually. But there's also we got extreme introverts as well. So we do have the two extremes here. But I guess I would say for the most part, nah, America's very diverse. I wouldn't say people usually have the same like personality because it's such a diverse country that, and it's a country that focuses on individualism and for everybody to be freely themselves. So I would say yeah, um, America is similar in the fact that you can find people on the extremes of every spectrum here in the U.S. and all different kinds of personalities, and it's yeah, I would say the same, similar in that matter. Individualism.
Even though communism and its group ideology, Poland is pretty individual when it comes to personal relations compared to
Understandable.
other European countries, like for example Denmark. What do I mean by this? I mean this on the private level and on the government level again. Poland has a high preference of a loosely knit social framework in which individuals are expected to take care of themselves and their immediate families only. In Poland, the average age of moving out is 26 compared to Scandinavian countries where I'm pretty sure it's 18. And that is because you stay with your family till you die in Poland. You're expected to help your family. Your family is the most important thing. And your kind of community is your family, and you're supposed to all help each other. Compared to other countries, it's similar in other Slavic countries, but compared to the West, that's not true. Of course, America is way more individual, but that's like hard to compare to. I'm mainly comparing to other European countries like Germany, Denmark, and Slovakia, Czechia, all the neighboring countries of Poland. When it comes to geopolitical issues, Poland...
individualism, exactly. So I was right when I said we're pretty similar in that nature. He said America is way more individualistic, but yes. Now, I think Poland probably has stronger family values, according to what he said, and here you don't stay at home till you're 26 to help take care of the family, to look out. If you stay at home till you're 26, it's more so, hey, it's expensive here, and so you're trying to save up money to move out and everything. And so I don't think the family values are as strong. I know I moved out when I was 18 years old, and I moved to college dorm. I still came back like during summers and stuff, but I moved out for the most part at 18. And I never really helped my dad. My dad has been pretty good, like, without any of my help. For the heck, he was helping me still after 18. But I do know, like, for my parents, I'd be there for them when they do need me. So, but I think Poland does have stronger family values than here in the U.S., for sure.
When it comes to geopolitical issues, Poland can unite very easily. And statistically, Poland has been more productive and efficient when they unite against a common cause. This can be seen right now that Poland is trying to unite to be against the EU, even though that isn't really practical, since the EU is helping Poland a lot. But without getting into too much politics, Poland tends to function worse when they don't have a common enemy that is not in the country. But Poland is also very capitalistic because of communism. They rejected communism to such a point, they radically started privatizing businesses to the point that Poland is one of the fastest developing rich countries in the world, and it has survived many crises during the past decades. Now I'm gonna give a second anecdote, and that is encounters with random neighbors and just random people on the road. Poland has a thing for ignoring the existence of a person unless it becomes relevant. When it becomes relevant, usually they are very welcoming and helpful. This is something that is totally opposite in more, I would say, Mediterranean countries like Spain and Italy. where
Yeah.
people, neighbors, they just say hi to each other and they greet each other and they have relationships even though they're not necessarily close or have opened up to each other. In Poland,
Yeah.
when you meet someone in the bus, when you meet your neighbors, very often they don't say anything, but if you say hi to them, they
I
will
feel
reply.
that.
Compared
I
to
feel
most
that.
countries in Europe, I've noticed that people usually greet with you. And this is true to such an extent that when my Scandinavian dad said hi to a neighbor that lives next to us,
Yeah.
he was shocked. To be fair, he was just a teenager, but it is
Oh,
so uncommon to greet people in Poland that when my dad
that's
greeted
wild.
my neighbor, who was like 14 years old, he turned around, looked weirdly at my dad, and said hi back. This is very interesting, and I feel like it's less
Yeah.
usual in other countries.
That's so freaking wild to think about. Like, yeah, it's not like that in Poland. He said, "Oh, did he just greet me? Did he just say hello to me?" So it's not like different countries in Europe where I guess people are like very friendly. First meeting them, people, your neighbors will invite you over. You got dinner together. You're very close in Poland. It's like, we don't really speak to anyone unless we're spoken to. Like if somebody says hi, we'll say hi back, but we ain't just gonna be walking up to strangers saying hello, doing these greetings. We not rocking with that. And then geopolitically, said Poland unites when they need to, when they have a common enemy. And right now they're looking at the EU, which I don't think they should leave the EU or anything like that. I feel like the EU is very helpful in so many ways, but I think they're looking at the EU as an issue when it comes to immigration. I know Poland does not want to take in immigrants. They don't. They see these refugees and they're like, no, like these are people that Russia's trying to send and flood Europe, and we're not taking them. And where the EU saying you need to take these like refugees, you need to take these asylum seekers, Poland's like, no, we're not. Look at the issues of the rest of the countries in the EU that are taking on many immigrants. We don't want that here. I know that's issue going on in Poland right now.
Therefore, there's the Polish stereotype mentality that Polish people are closed off and very serious.
Gotcha.
Uncertainty avoidance.
That mean they taking risk?
Poland has a very high uncertainty avoidance, especially compared to the Danish. I think the reason for this is how much corruption there was in Poland. Now there's way less because of the government removing a lot of the corruption, but Poland used to have an extreme amount of corruption to the point that the government was built on it, similarly to how it is now in Russia. This has left an impact on the Polish mentality. The Polish people have a very high uncertainty avoidance. That means they like maintaining a rigid codes of belief and behavior, and are usually intolerant of unorthodox behaviors and ideas. What does this mean is that Polish people like a set amount of rules, and they are not a fan of changing the rules and of new, unsure ideas being introduced. And this seems to be the case even when the existing rules don't work. An anecdote for this: when my dad moved with my family from Ireland to Denmark, he was shocked on the amount of pages and text there was in contracts when he was a banker. Because the Polish people hate uncertainty so much and they're not very trustworthy, they had every small detail of what could happen in a business transaction possibly written down. And my dad had to adapt to this when he was working in Poland, since Danish culture usually is way more trusting, which of course has its benefits and its drawbacks. Indulgence.
I feel like uncertainty avoidance. I completely understand it, right? Always wanting to stay in that safety net. Don't want to really come outside of it. Take risks, take chances. So they don't want rules to change. They don't want new rules and none of that, because it's like they already know this system. They're already comfortable with this system of rules. Adding new rules, could it be better? Possibly. Could it be worse? Possibly. But we don't want to take the chance that the new rules could end up being worse because we have no certainty of how things are going to play out. And so we rather you just keep things the way they are. Don't fix something that ain't broken. I'm completely different in the aspect of I want to see how things are. Like I'm very curious and like, okay, if you change this, then what'll happen? If you do this, what'll happen if you change? Like a lot of it when it comes to food, like, all right, but what if I do this small tweak instead of that? What difference will I taste? Or what if this instead of it's just always like a mindset of I don't want to say the grass is greener on the other side, but it kind of is that mindset in a way of just like always wanting to try new things because you never know or you don't know what you don't know. That's all I can say.
Polish culture is one of restraint. The Polish usually have a tendency to cynicism and pessimism. I think this is a reason for the massive amount of failures of Polish governments. The amount of torment the Polish people have experienced through history has caused the Polish to have a set mindset of being negative. The Polish see leisure time and taking breaks as something negative and something to be looked down upon. Unlike Germany, for example, who treat leisure time and breaks as a fact of work. Polish people don't even necessarily think that negative motivation is bad. The Polish new capitalist society of hierarchy likes hierarchy so much culturally and mentally that they encourage hierarchy because it gives negative motivation to work harder. Like, for example, tests and being fired from your job. A private experience of the Polish having a fixed negative mindset is my own experience. One day when I was driving to school and I had to change from a bus to a subway station, there was a homeless drunk guy who asked me for money, for change. And I had change on me, so I thought, why not, I'll just give it to him. So I took it out of my backpack and gave him the money, and he went away. Literally 10 meters after I gave the homeless man money, anonymous police agents went up to me and thought I just bought drugs off him. Because it is so unusual for Polish people to give money, plus the fact that Polish people presume the negative. The two police officers, who were, by the way, dressed as normal people, they just had badges, thought I was buying drugs out of him. So they walked up to me and told me that they want to look in my backpack, and they took my backpack, they looked through all this stuff, they didn't find any drugs, and they wrote my address, my school address. They would ask me questions to see if I was lying or if I was drunk or whatever, and they let me go. I think that experience explains pretty accurately the Polish mentality of indulgence.
That's wild. Because he decided to give money to a homeless man, the police thought that he was buying drugs off of him, due to this pessimism mindset. I try to stay away from a mindset of pessimism. I'm more I lean all the way toward optimism, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like manifestation is a thing. Like, and I don't know. I just think you expect good things to happen. Shoot, good things will happen. If you expect bad things to happen, bad things will happen. And that is that foolproof? No. Does that 100 good things happen or bad things happen just all the time to everyone? So it's not like I expect everything to go great, so everything in my life is great. No, bad things do happen. But I think once you get to a state of mind where you look at the bad things and think, good comes with the bad. Can't have the highs without the lows. You don't let the bad things affect you as much. That does allow you to stay optimistic all the time, because it's like, it could happen. But I'm always like, when it's like, let's say a bet, making a bet, because I like to bet. And we're going to get back to the video, but like, it'd be safe to make a bet just on two people doing their sports thing. It's safe. That's a safe bet. Or it's not completely safe, but it's safer. But I want but if I bet on 6 people, There's more money in that. And I have a much bigger chance of losing. Much higher chance of losing. But if I win, that's always my thought. If I win, I probably need to not think like that so much. But that was just an example.
Long-term orientation. The Polish have a strong concern with establishing the absolute truth. Polish people are normative in their thinking. The Polish exhibit a great respect for traditions and a relatively small propensity to save the future. Like, for example, the Polish politically think more on short-term benefits than long-time benefits, compared to Germany and Denmark that plan economic rules that would benefit them only in the next couple of decades. An example of this is Germany investing in Poland through the EU that long-term will save them money, because the Germans have a mentality of if everyone is richer, everyone benefits. The futuristic neoliberal movement is becoming strong, but with the aging population problem arriving in Poland, like in most developing countries, an old, more traditional people will have more of an impact on decisions for quite a time. The liberal philosophy of try your best and be the best version on yourself is not as present in Poland as it is in its Western counterparts. The Polish positive motivator is based on being the best instead of try your best, which in my opinion is really destructive, since being the best at most things is near to impossible, which means inevitable failure. I have many friends, both grown up and in my age, with this mentality, and it often confuses me, since it's lack of practicality. Power distance.
My thing is, I don't think it's bad to strive to be the best. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think striving to be the best is cool. Like, it's something to, like, chase. It gives you something to strive for. I think if you feel like you're striving to be the best and anything less than being the best is failure, then it can be bad. Because, like you said, it is extremely difficult to be the best at everything, or to be the best, like absolute best at things. Like, it's difficult, but striving to be the best is awesome because it's a journey. It's the climb, right? It's fun. But if you gave it everything that you got, if you tried your best and you literally gave it all you had and you're still not the best, I don't think that's a reason to be down on yourself. I think you still be proud of yourself. You gave it your best shot. You tried your hardest. That's all you can do. That is the
capitalism
system.
is built into the Polish mentality. Poland is a hierarchical society, unlike, for example, Denmark, where people aren't considered better or worse than one another. This means that the Polish people have a set mindset that people belong in a certain place in a hierarchy, and it doesn't need any further justification. Centralization in Poland is really popular. People lower in a hierarchy are expected to be done as told, and the ideal boss, successful boss in Poland, is a benevolent autocrat, which truly proves how much Polish people love hierarchy. And also, communism in Poland kind of proved to the Polish that a lack of hierarchy doesn't work, further strengthening the concept of built-in power distance, which is a very important and core part of the Polish mentality. Another part of Polish power distance is Polish sexism. The Polish also see a set hierarchy in gender roles. This is slowly changing with the more modern movement, but it's still very clear in Polish culture mentality. Part of this reason is that the Polish have a specific type of Christianism called Catholicism, where they interpret the Bible in a very conservative way compared to, for example, Protestantism in Denmark, where women have pretty much equal rights to men.
Love that.
Confusion.
Absolutely love that, but would never say that anybody's beliefs are wrong. They're your beliefs, they're your values that you hold precious, so we never do anything to try to change them. But I do love everybody being seen as equal. I do think definitely here in the U.S. there absolutely is a hierarchy here. So we're a very capitalistic society, as you guys know, so similar in that nature. So yeah, there is a hierarchy here. The corporations and companies and organizations all at the top are definitely like over everything. They run the stuff. They run America. You feel me? So I understand that. I feel like the Poland. I know the U.S. and Poland are two completely different countries in so many ways, but there are some similarities.
The Polish are confused, which often is seen with their annoyance in what people call them. Poland does not like to be called an Eastern country because of their hate to the Russian and the corrupt plebs that they consider them. But they also don't want to be called a Western country because of the beta liberals that are there that don't have any tradition and only focus on progress. Therefore, Poland can never be fulfilled with their identity. The Germans to the west, their biggest trading partner, are way richer and way more developed, and because of that, the Polish are usually in their shade. The Russians to the east have way more influence when it comes to art and culture. Remember when I said that it is important for the Polish to be the best and not the best version of themselves? This is an example of that. The Polish are extremely annoyed that they are not the best at any big factor geopolitically. Especially when the two countries they compete the most with, Germany and Russia, both are winning immensely against them. Poland loves making fun of themselves, but get utterly mad when someone who is not Polish criticizes them. This can be clearly seen in this bit made by this YouTuber.
Ugh, being Polish is the worst. Seriously.
I know, right? I hate Polish sausages. They're so gross.
They are, and the government is just totally whack.
Yeah, Poland is terrible.
What did you say?
You can't say that. You're not from here.
Another thing that is
But I feel like that's so many countries around the world. Like, that is so... the citizens love to crap on the country, but then anybody else craps on it, and it's like... they're ready to jump down their throats.
Usual in individual capitalist countries is that Poland looks very negatively on bragging. If you brag about your work, about how much you make money, the Polish mentality is very against that. It's similar to the philosophy of jantelon in Denmark, where you shouldn't say how much you have, you should just prove it by showing how much you work.
Okay.
On a more positive note, the Polish are extremely hard-working people and often feel like their country isn't good enough for them and go out to other countries because they're so competent and educated that they're very looked after jobs for the Polish. The Polish are known to be hardworking, pragmatic, welcoming when introduced to, and trustworthy. The Polish have a big sense of unity, and when the Polish unite, they can achieve everything they want. And that is gonna be pretty much it for this video.
That was a great video. I feel like I got to learn a lot about the Polish mentality and why the Polish are how they are. And I got to see some similarities between the U.S. and Poland, which is very cool. But also see a lot of differences between Poland and a lot of the other European countries, which is really cool. So I did get to learn a lot from this video. And if you felt like you learned something, please don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the next one. I'll see you guys next time.